Good afternoon. This is Sergi with you, the manager at Dynasty Business Advisor. Today we'll be talking about holdings in the UAE. What are they, why are they needed, and where should you set one up? Why do some clients choose offshore companies, others go for free zones, and some opt for large companies in the DIFC? A holding's like a business safe with a brain. It holds assets, manages the structure, and helps the owner keep everything in one basket. A holding is a legal entity whose main purpose is to own assets. These can be shares in companies, stocks, movable and immovable property, intellectual property, or other assets. The main goal of a holding is to bring everything together into a clear structure, manage assets centrally, receive dividends, plan taxes, protect property, and make life easier for the owner. Holding companies can be registered in different parts of the world. Many jurisdictions offer 0% on dividends. But why the Emirates in particular? Firstly, it's a strong jurisdiction for private ownership and international structuring. Here, the business environment is clear, the reputation is good, the banking system is well developed, and there is great interest from entrepreneurs from all over the world. Secondly, there is no personal income tax in the UAE. Dividends and capital gains within corporate structures can be exempt from corporate tax provided certain conditions are met. That's why it's important not just to set up a company, but to properly understand what kind of income it receives and which tax regime it falls under. In the Emirates, the phrase "there are no taxes at all" no longer applies. Here, you really need to understand the structure you're going to set up. Thirdly, the UAE has long ceased to be seen as a classic offshore jurisdiction where you just open a company, hide the paperwork, and do whatever you like. Now here, it's important to conduct business properly, keep accounts, and submit to audits. There's corporate tax and VAT here. There are strict requirements for compliance with IML regulations and for countering the laundering of money obtained illegally or through criminal means. There are requirements here for disclosing the beneficiary, compliance, and international exchange of tax information. But all of this can be structured, circumvented, and minimized as much as possible. The main thing is that a holding company in the Emirates helps to separate asset ownership from operational risks. For example, if one of the commercial companies in a particular country faces a dispute with counterparties, a tax issue, or a commercial risk, a properly structured holding arrangement helps to avoid lumping all assets together. But it's important to note that a holding company is not a magic invisibility cloak. It doesn't override laws, compliance, taxes, or liability. It only works when the structure is set up correctly, the documents are logically arranged, the sources of funds are clear, and the owner doesn't manage everything in a chaotic manner. At Dynasty Business Advisor, we identify three main options in the Emirates for registering a holding company. The first level is an offshore company in Ajman offshore. It's quick, simple, and inexpensive. We act as agents there. The second level is registering a company in a free zone. Here we particularly highlight, for example, the mainland free zone. Here it's possible to obtain a residence visa and become a tax resident in the Emirates. The third level is DIFC, the Dubai International Financial Centre, which is the most premium level for serious international structures, funds, family offices, and inheritance investment planning. There are key restrictions in Ajman offshore. It does not grant the right to obtain a residence visa in the UAE, and you also cannot register real estate in the Emirates under this company in any of the Emirates. Additionally, banks are more reluctant to open accounts if you do not have a residence visa in the United Arab Emirates. So it's important to understand what purpose you are registering it for. For this, you can contact us at Dynasty Business Advisor, and we will always be happy to help you. The second option is registering an offshore company in a free zone, specifically in the mainland free zone. Here, the company is already more straightforward, as it has its own office. This can be either a flexi desk or a physical office. With this company, the owners, company managers, or employees can obtain a residence visa. Banks are generally more comfortable with this kind of structure, as it has a greater presence in the Emirates, which means they need to put in less effort to open such a bank account. The main advantage here, of course, is the residence visa, because with a residence visa, you can already change your tax residency. This, by the way, is a distinct advantage of the Emirates compared to other low-tax jurisdictions such as Hong Kong and Singapore. When you register a company there, you can't easily obtain a residence visa, whereas here, the company itself serves as the basis for obtaining a residence visa and consequently tax residency. The cost of registering such a company starts from $4,500 and takes from 2 days to 2 weeks, depending on the founder's passports. And the level of compliance required in the free zone depends on the passport. Because if a passport is subject to more sanctions, compliance will need to request bank statements, proof of source of funds, sources of capital, and additional documents. That's normal. The bank and the free zone want to understand who the client is, where the money comes from, and what the purpose of the structure is. By 2026, this is already the standard reality, not just someone's personal nitpicking. The real cherry on top, of course, is the DFC, which has its own legal ecosystem, its own regulatory framework, its own courts, notary services, and all of this is based on British common law. The DFC is a huge, already substantial international structure, which is viewed very positively all over the world. That's why it's often chosen by international companies themselves, large family offices, investment companies, and funds for purposes such as estate planning, asset ownership, and complex corporate structures. But again, it's important not to say that the DFC guarantees maximum protection from absolutely everything. Of course, no one can give such guarantees. Even an umbrella in Dubai isn't always necessary, but when it does rain, and we do get downpours here, everything gets flooded and the authorities have to adapt, just like the rest of us. So it's more accurate to say that the DFC can be an effective tool for asset protection and estate corporate planning, provided the structure's set up correctly. Another reason why people choose the DFC is the possibility of complex investment and corporate structuring. What does that mean? It means you can create structures with different classes of shares, funds, sub-funds. You can set up SPVs, these are special purpose vehicles for specific needs, and you can create investment instruments, so the company can issue shares and carry out other transactions on the public capital market. The cost of registering a holding company in the DFC usually starts at around $35,000. This is the minimum level, with a workstation for the company, but without a fully separate office. The registration process usually takes from 1 to 2 months because the checks on the founders, the structure of the capital sources, and the company's purpose are much more thorough. They will look into everything in detail and ask a lot of questions. Let's sum up. Ajman Offshore is suitable if you need a quick, simple, and inexpensive structure for owning international assets, and you have a clear understanding of how you'll use it, then yes. And the Mainland Free Zone is the right choice if you need a holding company with the possibility of obtaining resident visas and shifting your tax residency. Well, and DIFC is of course a complex and cumbersome structure for those who want a serious foundation for their international business. A big mistake would be to choose a jurisdiction solely based on price. That's, well, like choosing a car just by its colour. You really do need to know what you actually need. So, if you're planning to set up a holding company in the UAE, get in touch with Dynasty Business Advisor. We'll help you choose the right structure for your needs. Thank you for your attention. This was Sergey with you, and do watch our next videos.